Hey, this is Carlos GGS from Guitar God Secrets. Welcome back. I want to talk to you about alternate picking versus economy picking. Now, you've probably heard of alternate picking. Alternate picking is, well, we first start out on guitar doing what? We first start out with what I call unidirectional picking, which is down, 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 down. You know, we're just picking this way only. And if it's a chord, you can do your Pete Townsend arm twirl there, whatever you like, but that's the direction we just start out learning, is that downward angle, because it makes the most sense. But then you learn, oh, I got to be able to come back up too, so you learn more advanced strumming, right? And I'm sure that sounds awesome playing a chord like that this high gain, but you get the idea. When it comes to picking, though, when you're playing solos or you're playing patterns, you've got to be able to use alternate picking, which is the back and forth. Okay, so that's that back and forth motion that we do that makes it easy to go as a pattern, keep the arm moving in a consistent fashion, and all you got to do is shift that hand to the next string or the next string or the next string to keep the pattern going. So you're just doing this, and it never stops, and you never have to think about it. Your wrist keeps going in that alternating pattern. I never have to think about that. Well, okay, that's good to a certain degree, but there are some speedier ways of getting from string to string and some more economical ways. If we go from just a pentatonic, that totally makes sense because there's 2 notes per string, so I'm going down, up, down, up. What's my next one? Next string, down, down, up. So you get the same thing, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up. Even if there's 2 notes on the string. But what happens when you change that to a diatonic scale progression? Where instead of it's just 1, 3, I'm going 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can still do alternating, but now I've gone down on that note and I'm going to the next string, which means I go up to start the next string, and I've done another odd number there, which means my next note is down. You see what's happening? With odd notes, I'm changing the pattern when I go from string to string. So it doesn't make as much sense, especially if you're trying to go fast. Now, the way to go fast among notes like that is to use economy picking. When you have an odd number of notes on a string, you can use what is known as economy picking, which means I go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, it's like a mini sweep pick to get you to the next string. And it allows much more speed in going up and down scales, 3 notes per string especially, okay? So how do we use this? Because now we're changing it up a little bit. It's not always up, down, up, down. I can't keep my hand going in the same direction. I have to actually finesse it a little bit. Well, this is the next level of guitar playing for those of you that have been playing alternate picking. The next level you need to take it to is being able to do economy picking, okay? I do something that I call hybrid picking, which is the ability to go from alternate picking to alternate to economy picking as I need to, depending on how many notes are on a particular string going to the next string. And that's something you just kind of intuit after a while. Once you've practiced both of them, you get the idea. Especially if you've done any kind of, if you do any kind of sweep picking, you already have this fluidity of motion going from string to string all in one direction. But economy picking is a little different because you're only going between 2 strings in the same direction. And it makes it a little trickier in some ways to learn. So, you want an exercise to do this? Well, the simplest one is just to do your scales like that, okay? Don't do scales like this constantly, because you're going to get into that, what I did, which was getting into the constant climbing and descending of scales up and down, and your solos just sound like scale work. You know, and that's just not very interesting to listen to, quite honestly. But vary it up a little bit, okay? But for a simple exercise, this works wonders for getting your picking in gear, is just to go up the diatonic scale, not the pentatonic, the diatonic. Okay, and what I did there was every string change was on note number 3 of that string. 1, 2, 3 was a downward pick, which means the next one is a downward pick. 1, 2, downward pick on 3. Now I'm over next to the next string. And then what you do is, as you do number 3, you pick through that note and you put your pick against the next string. So at the end of that note, my pick is on the A string, ready to go. And now my pick is on the D string. And then the pick goes right to the next string. And that's the way to do it. Do it very slow, do it very carefully and methodically, and eventually you can go up and down the scales much faster than you could simply with alternating picking. I know there's some out there that would argue that you can go just as fast with alternating picking. I had a friend that used to argue that he could open a butterfly knife as fast as somebody could open a switchblade, which is complete bullshit, because a butterfly knife takes about 3 or 4 different little clever wrist motions, whereas a switchblade, the knife just comes out. It's completely physically impossible for that to happen, okay? All other things being equal. Same thing here. It is physically impossible to be faster with alternating picking if I have to pass by the next string and come back up it to get that next note. I'm already going past it, means I've already missed an opportunity to pick a note. So if you want to get speed, you have to learn economy picking and alternating picking. You can do a lot with alternating picking, especially with pentatonics, but once you switch to those diatonic scales or 3 notes per string, you've got to have a faster way of moving among and between notes. Hey, this is Carlos from Guitar God Secrets. A little segue into alternating picking versus economy picking. If you like this video and you want more, you need that instant gratification hit, well, please go to the site. Go on over to guitargodsecrets.com and just take a second, plug your email in, start getting these tips day by day in your inbox, okay? Stuff that I don't even show on this channel. Just sign up, get on there, and I'm going to give you free, no charge, my #1 practice guitar hack, or #1 guitar practice hack. Either way, it works. Go on over there, get it, and start making your practice time count, because the one thing you can't afford to do is waste time when you want to be getting better on guitar. I'll be talking again soon. This is Carlos GGS. Live to play, play to live.